Today is the 28th Annual California Day of the Teacher. It's a bittersweet time as we honor all educators who work to build a better future for our students and our state. Our theme this year is California Teachers Creating Brighter Futures. But those futures are being dimmed by the dark clouds on the horizon from so many endless cuts to our classrooms. Over the last 2 years, more than $17 billion has been cut from education. Earlier this year, the CTA Board of Directors, all the educators who stand here with me today, supported taking action against nearly $2 billion in tax breaks handed out to large corporations last year by the legislature. Our top governing body at CTA, our State Council of Education, launched an initiative drive to repeal those tax breaks.
So we've turned in more than the required number of signatures to qualify the Repeal Corporate Tax Loopholes Act for the November 2010 ballot. This initiative is not only important to our students and to our public schools, but it is important to all individual taxpayers and the future of California, because it is the first step in trying to plug a huge tax loophole that allows mega companies to slip through without paying their fair share. It is the first step in helping to close an unprecedented $20 billion state budget gap that is widening. Last year, big businesses in California got a $2 billion a year permanent tax break, just as at the same time, homeowners were worried about their homes being foreclosed on. Prices were skyrocketing. Taxes on individuals increased by $12.5 billion, and tens of thousands of people lost their jobs. Schools were slashed over $17 billion. We are filing this initiative for one reason: to give our students the promise of a quality education and a brighter future here in California.
Last year, state budget cuts caused 16,000 educators to lose their jobs. This year will be just as devastating to school districts that are laying off thousands more. We know that 26,000 preliminary pink slips went out to teachers this spring, and that districts must decide by this Saturday who they are actually going to lay off. In the Bay Area alone, 5,000 teachers received pink slips from school districts. In the East Side Union School District in San Jose, nearly 50 educators were laid off, including 36 counselors and other vital staff. This is one of the largest school districts in Northern California with 25,000 students. In Santa Clara County, more than 110 teachers in the high-achieving Cupertino Union School District received pink slips as the district had to cut more than $7 million from their budget. But the good news is that in that community, the parents were able to raise $2 million to help save the teaching positions and to keep class sizes. The bad news is that all across the state of California, we are having to fund our schools by parents picking up the tab. Is that really what we want for our children?
Our state is not putting our most valuable resource, our children, first. I've been fortunate to watch thousands of my students benefit through their participation in music education. I have seen them focus and grow as they learn an instrument, developing concentration skills and a love for the beauty of music. Our children deserve to have every opportunity that a well-rounded education provides. Our children's education is fundamental, a fundamental building block that will shape our future society. Children's education should be our top priority, and music should be a part of their experience.
School nurses are the link and support to educators to promote optimum student learning. We are students' first line of defense against illness, and often their only link to health care and resources. A lack of education certainly has a negative effect on a child's future, but a lack of health care may prevent them from even having a future. I am one of 8 Hayward Unified nurses who were given pink slips, leaving just 2 full-time nurses for a population of 21,000 students. The state estimates that due to severe cuts, California school nurses' average ratio will be 2,155 students per nurse, and we are one of the worst ratios in the country. In Hayward, if we are left with 2, that ratio will end up much worse, which puts students, I believe, in very grave danger. The California Department of Education says that in these times of massive cuts, about half of the state school districts have no nurses at all. I certainly would not want my child with a chronic condition being at a school without a nurse.
The governor's proposed budget in January seeks to cut an additional $2.4 billion from education, and since he's threatened to renege on the budget agreement from last year, this Friday, the governor is unveiling his revised budget proposal and will be there to protect funding for our students. Across California, we are joining concerned citizens who care about California students and our state's future and are working together to ensure that our governor and state lawmakers are held accountable for their budget votes that impact our schools.